Well, right now me and Sagwe are here next to my Celeste fig tree. There's Sagwe kind of scratching up against it, and Celeste is beginning to ripen some figs. She's actually got a pretty good crop on her, but there's a fig that's kind of getting ripe. You know, when it comes to eating figs, I like a really super ripe fig. When it comes to making fig preserves, I think I like the fig preserves a little better if they aren't quite as terribly ripe when they're picked. Although I think the best fig preserves are made when it's a mixture. I like the firm ones in the fig preserves, but I also like the really ripe ones that get kind of mushy in the cooking process. I ate some figs this morning, and I also am putting some figs up in the freezer. And the ones that go in the freezer, those are actually the ones that will go into preserves, because figs kind of ripen one or a few at a time, and at least my trees so far aren't big enough to produce enough figs that on a given day you can pick enough to make fig preserves. My other fig trees are not quite as ready to be ripe yet. This is Alma, and Celeste is kind of a brown fig. It's what most of us who are older, who live in the deep south, kind of grew up with. Alma is kind of a yellowy fig. Is what they call a honey fig. This one was developed by Texas A&M back probably in the 50s or so, and it's a good fig. They get way bigger than this when they're ripe. This over here is actually my favorite fig of the ones that are mature and that I have gotten harvest from. This is green Ischia. Some people know it as the strawberry vert fig. A lot of my trees have two crops on them right now. Well, when I say two crops, I need to be careful. These are all main crop figs, but you know, you got the bigger figs here that will be ripening. You know, these will probably ripen in August. It's currently early July. It's actually July 4th, and the big figs on this tree will probably be ripening in early August. But you got little itty bitty figs up here that are just coming on, and those will probably be ripening in late September, October. See, you can really see that this one, you know, the tree did a little growth spurt and put on a bunch of figs that are going to be late. That one did that. Celeste did that a little bit, and the one that's also done that quite a bit and has quite a few late figs on it is my black mission fig. And it generally has a big crop on it. It's going to have a really big August crop on it, but it's going to have some figs a little later on too. I'm thinking. We can go around to the front and actually look at some of the younger fig trees. I'm watering up here, and I have a second green Ischia fig. I think if I had it to do over again, I would have just gotten a different one, even though I planted a second one just because I like green Ischia so much that it's that I thought, well, I'd like to have two. Well, but then you see other varieties on the internet and you go, well, I'd like to have one of those, but I'm out of space. This right here is a green Greek fig, and I think its characteristics are supposed to be very similar to that of green Ischia. It's a green fig with a red flesh that's supposed to taste very kind of strawberry-like, and but it's a little later fig, is my understanding, and it's just it's a different variety. So I've been told it's really good. So I'm kind of excited about it because there's actually a couple of little figs on this tree already. So hopefully they'll ripen and they'll be pretty good. Now, the first couple of figs on a fig tree are never as good as they are later on when the fig tree is older. Now, over here, I have my raspberry latte fig, and this is a relatively new variety. It actually came up as an accidental seedling at Encanto Farms. Encanto Farms, the guy who owns that is like one of the main experts on figs around, and that's one of the biggest fig collections in the country. It's in California, and this was a seedling that came up under a coffee tree, and so it got named raspberry latte. It has a reputation for being a really fast grower. It has a reputation of having fruit that tastes like raspberry jam, which I'm excited about. But it's kind of an unknown because the mother tree to this is only about 6 or 7 years old. And so the trees that are growing in various parts of the country, other than in California, are young like this one. Some of them are a little older than this one, but none of them are super old. And so there's all kinds of questions about how productive it's going to be in different regions of the country. Sort of the early reports on it is that this tree is a super fast grower, and indeed it's being a super fast grower in this yard. But also early reports of it is that it's growing super fast, but people are not getting figs on it right away, and there are no signs of figs on this tree. I nipped the ends off the buds, trying to force it to branch more, because it was growing so fast. I felt like, well, even if I slow it down a little bit, that's okay. I want it to branch more, and that hopefully would result in more figs later. So the jury's still out as to how productive this fig is outside of California. And so it's just, you know, with a lot of folks, it's just kind of an unknown because it's so new. But anyway, it is a pretty tree, and it grows well, and we shall see. Anyhow, let's see. I actually have one other fig in 2 other fig trees in my yard. See if I can go over here. I have a sprinkler going, so we might get wet exploring this. This is my second favorite fig tree. Although it's not one of the biggest producers, this at least so far, this is Negroni. And some people, some places it's called Violette de Bordeaux. And this fig tree also has an August crop, and then it has a much later crop, and actually a much bigger later crop coming on than its August crop. And I'm looking forward to these figs. I'm thinking the figs on this tree are going to be better this year than they were in previous years. The last fig tree I have and that I want to talk about is Ronde de Bordeaux. Now, it's not the same as the Violette de Bordeaux that we just looked at, but this is Ronde de Bordeaux. And this fig tree is supposed to have very good berry flavored fruit that are black with red centers. The fruit's supposed to be kind of smallish, but very, very flavorful. And so I don't have any little figs coming on this yet, and it's kind of been a small, slow-growing plant so far. So we shall see. But I'm looking forward to getting figs off of it later. So that's the fig report for July 4th, 2016. And this is Marcus Toole saying good day.